This is the new Kia EV9, a much anticipated electric SUV. Today, we're going to find out how far this 3-row full-size SUV can go on a full charge or battery. It being a large and boxy shape with a square front end, nobody is expecting it to be efficient. On top of that, it is blistering cold in Oslo nowadays with extreme low temperatures. So today, the EV9 really has a hard task ahead of it. Let's find out how far it manages to travel at below -20 Celsius. We are now back in the Kia EV9. I'm so excited, guys, to be testing this car for the next week and doing my full suite of testing. So if you don't want to miss out on all the cool videos I have on this car, please be sure to hit that thumbs up button and also subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on the upcoming videos. This being the all-wheel drive version with the biggest battery pack, it is the car that should get the best range. But conditions being early January and we having this insane cold front which has moved from northern Norway down here over southeastern Norway, it is insanely cold outside. -21 degrees is what the car is telling me the outside temperature is now, and that is completely insane. I'm from Western Norway. If you just saw my past few videos, I was in Bergen testing the Lotus Electra, and I did a range test there, and I think it was like +7 degrees. That was granted in a tunnel, but outside temperature was like +3 degrees. -21 is 24 degrees colder in just a few days. That is an insane change in weather and in climate. It's now -22 degrees Celsius. It just keeps getting colder and colder as we move northward towards Hamar here inland in Norway. The coldest that has ever been recorded in Bergen, where I'm from, -16 degrees. That was like in 1986. So I'm not used to anything close to these temperatures, even though I'm from Norway and I live in Norway. These insane cold temperatures that they have here in eastern Norway, in inland Norway, and also in parts of northern Norway is just so different to what I'm used to being from western Norway. Okay, so enough about that. We've now covered 70 kilometers. We've been on the road for 37 minutes, and our average consumption thus far is 38.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which is completely insane. That is one of the highest consumptions we've ever had in this test, but also -23 degrees Celsius is one of the coldest temperatures we've ever recorded in this test. Maybe we had a little bit colder conditions 2-3 years ago in a Volvo XC40, but I'm also pretty sure that the consumption of that car was as high, maybe even higher as this car. We knew this car wasn't going to be the most efficient because it is a large SUV, a full-size, boxy, traditional shape and styled 3-row SUV. So it's not going to be aerodynamic, it's not going to be efficient. And considering the conditions, -24 now, my God, it just gets getting colder and colder. Considering the conditions and this type of vehicle, I don't think it is too bad, but we'll see once we get back to our start if the consumption drops down a little bit. We're currently running the cabin at 20 degrees Celsius. We're running in eco mode, and also I have regen completely turned off. At past -20 degrees Celsius, the washer fluids on the EV9 stop working. The washer fluid stops working. I experienced the same thing in my Porsche Taycan going from Oslo to Bergen over Christmas, so it is to be expected. Is it that the washer fluid just doesn't go below 20 degrees Celsius, or is it because the nostrils clog up the sprayers of the washer fluid? But yeah, look at this. But it's nice, it is nice weather because I really don't need much washer fluid now. But okay, -21 degrees Celsius, our consumption is now halfway down to 37.2 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which is still pretty darn high. That is quite high. But again, I mean, this is a big car, it is a large car, so not a huge surprise. But let's see, let's head towards back to where we started. and see if that consumption drops, because according to the wind map at least, we should have had a headwind of about 2 meters per second on our way from where we started up here to Moel, which is our turnaround point. But I mean, it looks completely calm outside, so I'm not quite sure if that is accurate, but let's see once we get back to our starting point if the consumption drops just a little bit. Almost 2 hours on the road, and we are back here where we started the test earlier today. So we're going to go to the recharge charging station here next to the Esso here in Gardermoen, close to the airport here in Oslo. So they have 8 Kempower chargers over here, but I think I want to go to the Alpitronics chargers over here because they can deliver higher charging speeds. But we'll see if there is any free chargers, any vacant chargers, maybe, maybe not. It was really busy earlier today, and just now in winter when it's so cold, it seems a lot busier than usual. So that's occupied, that's occupied. Okay, so I don't know if I want to go to these, if I want to go to those over there, because these are faster, but these were also full. There are a few vacant, but then we're only going to split the charge. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the consumption now here. 36.8 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, minus 17 degrees Celsius outside. Pretty cold, pretty high consumption, but at the end of the video, we'll see what that accumulates to when it comes to the range. But first, we're going to connect to a charger and see what charging speed we get now after a few hours on the road driving. The charge port on the EV9 is in the same place as on the Kia EV6, here on the rear right side of the car, but it is a little bit different. What I've experienced with this charger when I connected it earlier is that the connector here on the car is a bit roomy, and that means if I don't hold it before it locks the cable in place or the connector in place, it will actually fail to initialize. But once it initializes, it is really, really quick, and we can see here what kind of speed we are getting now. 17% state of charge. We're getting 40 kilowatts now. Let's see how high that goes up to. I'm not expecting it to go very high because we've been driving for a few hours now, and the battery should have cooled down quite a bit. And I did not use preconditioning in this test because for a few reasons. We do that in a different test here on the channel. In this test, we drive the car for a few hours and see what kind of speed we're going to get after just, driving for a few hours and with that battery temperature without preconditioning. So it's the same for all cars because all cars don't have preconditioning. We're getting 65 to 70 kilowatts at 17%. A little bit higher now, 80. It may bump up the speed a little bit. So the other reason we do it is we want to maximize the range, so we don't want to, precondition the car before we get there, so we heighten the consumption because preconditioning will also use energy to a heater element to heat up the battery, which will give higher consumption than it would if it didn't. So that's also to give, the cars an equal playing field when it comes to that, because we're going to see what maximum range we can get in this test. But this car does have active preconditioning, and look at this, guys, we're getting 100 kilowatts. That is not bad at 18% stated charge, and now 2 cars have left. At least 1 car has left, so I think we're gonna get, pretty decent. We should be getting, that peak charging speed if the car was capable of taking it, because we got 100 kilowatts earlier here at like 80% with preconditioning. So that is not bad at all. So before we jump into the car and then we take a look at the actual range we got today, I just want to give a huge thanks to today's video sponsor, Elton, which is the most awesome charging app if you live in Norway, Sweden, Finland, or Denmark, because one charging app with one charging interface and one map interface and one payment method will let you charge at almost all charge point operators in all of these countries. It's super easy to use if you live in Norway, Sweden, Finland, or Denmark, if you plan on coming here on holiday or just to travel with an electric car in any of these countries. So if you want to support the channel, if you want one of the best charging apps on the market, go to the link in the description box down below and download the Elton charging app from there. Before we end today's video, let's take a look at the battery pack size, the consumption, and then calculate theoretical range. So this Kia EV9 all-wheel drive has a usable battery capacity of 96 kilowatt hours. We take that number divided by the consumption, 36.8 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, and then subtract 3% in heat loss, we get a theoretical range under today's conditions of 253 kilometers, which, to be honest, isn't great. It's one of the worst results we've ever had in this test. And also that consumption, 36.8 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, is easily the highest consumption we've ever recorded in this test. There are two cars that comes close, and that is the Volvo XC40 P8 Recharge I did 3 years ago with the old test that had like 35.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, and also the Hongqi EHS9, which was done early last year. Also, not too bad conditions, but that consumption was 34.0 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. So easily the highest consumption and one of the worst results we've had in this test. But, and it is a huge but, today's temperature is also by far the coldest we've ever done this test with. Minus 17 degrees Celsius now, at the coldest minus 23, minus 24. For most of the time under today's test, it was below 20 degrees Celsius, which is just insanely cold. So this is like worst case scenario, going 120 kilometers an hour in this cold. That's going to be an exception for most people, and this test isn't going to apply to most people out there. So this is your absolute worst conditions. I'm going to test this car again when it's milder, around 0 degrees Celsius, hopefully in a month or two, and I'm guessing we're going to get a lot better results. And also going to do this test in summer. So I think everything considered, the results we got today aren't actually that bad. 250 kilometers, yes, it's only about 50% of its WLTP rated range. 253 kilometers of real world range in this cold isn't bad. And one thing I'm going to say about this car, it's so nice to drive on the motorway even in this cold. And the cabin temperature set to 20 degrees Celsius. It didn't fluctuate. The temperature was stable in the car. I didn't feel any cold zones, around the windows, which I can do in other cars. I did the long trip test in the BMW i4 about a month ago, and it was like minus 6 or 7 degrees Celsius, and then I could start feeling the cold here around the A-pillar. I put my hand up here when it was minus 23. Yeah, didn't feel much different than now. Yes, it's going to be a little bit of cold, like radiating off the window, but it's so small of a difference, and that means the cabin temperature in here is very stable. So that's a really nice thing about this car. It seems to be superbly built. And also the new interface with the new infotainment system. Yeah, we're going to talk about that in the review because this is so much better than before. So guys, let me know what you think about the results of this car in this cold. Are you impressed? Are you disappointed? Let me know. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please drop me a thumbs up down below. And for more car content, as always, please subscribe. See you guys later and goodbye.